Hey everyone, it's Shelly Killinger from the Shelly Killinger Group at RE/MAX CSI. Today we're taking more of your real estate questions. One of the big parts of our mission here at the Shelly Killinger Group is to provide consumers with quality information so that they can make educated real estate decisions. So here we go. Question number 1 is from Amy Knupp on Facebook. How do I know how much house I can afford and how much are closing costs? Well, we are definitely hitting a lot of topic in this question, so let's unpack this just a little bit. How do I know how much house I can afford? So the easy answer is talk to a real estate agent who can introduce you to a great lender. There are a lot of factors to consider when you're determining how much house you can afford, the type of mortgage product that might best suit your needs, the amount of money that you have saved to use as a down payment, the amount of debt you have, your credit score. As you can see, it can get a bit detailed. So the absolute best and most accurate way is to see a lender and talk to a lender. The longer answer is that the lender is going to look at your total income and is going to compare that to the amount of debt you have in car payments or credit card debt, existing mortgages, etc. And they're going to ensure that your debt amount does not exceed a certain percentage of your total income. That's typically right around 43 to 45% of your total income. So that's the long answer. Amy also asked about closing costs. So we're actually, just so that you know, going to do an entire video just on this topic in the coming weeks. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. But the first thing to point out is that yes, there are additional costs involved in purchasing a home aside from just the purchase price. Some of these costs are paid up front and others are not paid until closing. And some of the larger closing costs that are paid at closing are transfer tax, which is basically like sales tax on real estate. And that's typically right around 1% of your total purchase price. So if you are buying a $100,000 house, that's going to be a $1,000 charge. Title insurance, which is a lender required item. It's an insurance policy that protects the lender and the buyer from any undiscovered defects in title on the property. That also typically runs right around 1% of your purchase price. So again, if you're buying a $100,000 house, that's going to be another $1,000. You also will have your loan origination and processing fees, which usually ballpark right around, again, 1% of purchase price. And then the last big item are the prepaid costs involved with setting up your escrow account. The escrow account is the account that the bank uses kind of as a cushion to pay your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes when they come due. Now, this could really vary. If you're living in a high tax area, you're going to probably have about a year's worth of taxes. So if your taxes are $10,000 a year, you could have $10,000 that you're going to owe up front. So that can really change the amount of closing costs that you're looking at. So you want to factor that in when you're thinking about budgeting. There are also some smaller items that you'll need to pay for up front, such as your appraisal fee and your home inspection fees, and those typically run around $500 each. Like I said, we're doing a full video on this topic alone in a couple weeks, so if you need a more detailed breakdown, be sure to keep your eye out for that video. So question number 2 comes from Allison Miller, and she would like to know, we're looking to buy a house. If we're looking to buy a house, should we list our current home before we find our new house or wait until we're under contract? Allison, thank you so much for asking this because honestly, it's a question that we get a lot in this business. It's scary to think about listing your home for sale when you don't have a place yet to live. But think of it this way. It's only scary if you don't have a plan. Honestly, the best way to manage this whole selling and then buying situation is to list your home before you find a home that you're in love with. Let's consider the market that we're in. There are very few homes for sale. So homes that are on the market tend to go pretty quickly. So as long as your home looks nice and is in a good neighborhood, then it should sell fairly quickly. On the other side of the coin, homes that you are looking to buy are also going to be moving very fast. Sometimes they'll even be going in multiple offers. The last thing you want to do is to find the home of your dreams before you have your home sold and then lose your dream home because you have a home sale contingency. So to make it easier, list your home for sale and then start to look for houses. And like I mentioned before, make sure you have a plan B. Make sure you have a plan in case you have to do a rental or crash with family for a short period of time in between houses. And also, Allison, if you need more explanation on this topic, we do have an entire video on our YouTube channel just on this topic alone. So check it out. Our last question for today comes from Michelle via Facebook, and she would like to know, in such a hot market, how do I make my offer stand out in a multiple offer situation? Michelle, this is such a great question, especially considering that the market that we're in. So as all of you know, homes are flying off the market. We've been talking about it in multiple videos. It's not uncommon to see multiple offer situations. There are definitely some strategies involved in making your offer more competitive than other buyers. And the first thing I would suggest is to be realistic with your price. Obviously, now is not the time to try to get a deal on a house when there are multiple offers and other buyers involved. It's just not the time. Make sure that you're coming in with an aggressive price in order to win the negotiation. Oftentimes, sellers are most motivated by their bottom line, so that's going to be an important factor for them. The second idea here is to clean up your offer as much as possible. There are a lot of little components in an offer, and making those little adjustments can sometimes make your offer stand out from others. So for example, you could make your home inspection window a little bit shorter so it doesn't take as long to get that contingency removed. You could remove perhaps a home warranty that you were going to ask the seller for, or maybe take over the seller's security system service so that they don't have to pay the remainder of the contract. Now, those little things can really add up to a seller and just might be enough to tip the balance in your favor. Lastly, I would consider the seller's needs. Does the seller need to move sooner rather than later? If you can accommodate that, then bump up your closing date. Do they need a place to live for a few weeks until they find their new place? If you can accommodate that, then consider it. Maybe consider renting back to them for a few weeks until they can find their new home. Including items that speak to the seller's needs will always help you win in those types of situations. So those are all of our questions for today. Of course, if you have any additional questions or need further explanation, feel free to give us a call directly or explore our other videos on our YouTube channel. There is so much great information there. And please do subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Thank you so much for watching along today, guys. See you next time.